Okay, let's check it out. Now, the pool table side hustle versus the box truck or junk removal hustle. Now, first off, I want to say this is just a comparison between the two. I'm giving the comparison because I've done both. I've done box truck work, 26-foot trucks, driving across the country for thousands of miles to make $16,000 to $20,000 a month, and actually end up spending probably 16 or $14,000 a month just to keep that going, right? I've done junk removals in a box truck, or I've done it with a trailer. So I'm experienced in both of these fields, but I'm telling you, once I've used my tools on my trucks and things like that to start working in the pool table space, a lot of things changed. I watched a lot of overhead go down. So that's what I'm here to explain. I really just want people to see the difference between the two, because when I saw the difference, I made a shift and I made a decision to understand that I was spending a lot more on fuel and a lot more on labor costs on the junk removal side, or even going to the dumpsters and having to pay to unload my truck, right? So the same amount of income can be made with pool tables, but it's way less work, right? So that's what I'm here to explain. Now let's look at it. You got the box truck or the junk removal side. And the box truck or junk removal side, you get paid per load, paid per mile, paid per job, but the income stops when the truck stops. If your truck is not moving, there's nothing else available for you to earn any income, right? We're looking at that. Now the pool table business, you get paid per service. You know, you get paid per upgrade, paid per product, and paid per back end sale. We'll explain what those is in a minute. Okay, now again, when you look at it, the box truck or the junk removal side, it got a higher fuel cost, I'm sorry, uh, high vehicle wear, heavy labor, insurance heavy, competitive pricing pressure. Competitive pricing pressure is basically there's a lot of other companies out there doing the same thing, competing, right? A lot of customers, especially in the shipping of hauling, you got brokers that's intervening with how much you're going to make on the job. You know, the broker may have the job for $1,400 and you got it for seven. Or you might have said, well, I'll take 1,000, and they say, no, all I could do is eight. And now you at 800. He got $1,400, right? Well, he made whatever the difference is. He made what, $600 on that job. You made eight, and you used your truck to drive, you know, a massive amount of miles, right? So keep that in mind. That's on the box truck and junk removal side. You got no products, no back end product system. When the job ends, the revenue ends. There's no digital layer, no product stack, no upsell infrastructure. There's nothing you can sell when you're doing the box truck hustle, or when you're doing the junk removal hustle, right? There's not much to sell there. Now, on the pool table side, you got a skilled trade position. That means you are the value, not the truck, right? You are the value. You got higher perceived expertise, which means when people see you or when you get to the job, they're looking at you like you are the professional. You know more than what they know in this position. Uh, it's going to be difficult for them to find somebody else to replace you to do this job, right? I mean, they may try it, but it's not like it's going to be a long list on Google when they Google pool table mover or pool table refill. There's probably going to be two or three other people there at best. That's if they get in touch with them. A lot of the times, they will tell you, customers will tell you, most pool table technicians be booked up for 2 to 3 weeks. They don't even have time to get to them, right? That's when you know you're in an expertise field. Versus box truck or junk removal, somebody might show up to your door with a pickup truck and a $50 an hour, right? To remove, I mean, you can find them a dime a dozen. So that's the difference, and the difference between the pool table hustle and the box truck hustle. But we can go even further into it and look at it again. On another side, what do you sell after you haul what you're hauling? For a box truck company or junk removal? What do you sell after the truck stops? What other income streams is there? Right? Pretty much nothing. Pretty much nothing. Now, I will say at best you can sell some furniture. As a mover, a former mover running a moving service, I did get furniture that people didn't want, Sometimes, yeah, it was TVs, or sometimes it was a couch or a sofa set, or something like that. And I was able to put it in my garage until that got full, and then I put it in a storage unit and I would sell the stuff. But the issue with that was, if I stopped doing moves, then I stopped getting the free furniture and stuff like that, right? And in fact, the furniture actually turned it into me having to deliver that furniture to somebody, or to give it to somebody, or maybe have them pull up to the storage. I had to show up to the storage, or have them come to my house to pick up, whatever it was I was selling that I got from somebody for free, right? Now, in the junk removal, I don't know. I never did keep anything out of the junk removal space. Not saying that it wasn't something that you can go in somebody's house, you got to do a junk removal job for, and there's something in there that's valuable that you keep, and you determine that, I'm gonna sell this later. I haven't come across much of that. Most of the junk removals, by the time I got there, anything valuable was gone. It was gone. So, I can't speak to that as much now. But on the pool table business side, after you do the service for the pool table, you can still sell felt upgrades to them, right? They're customers now. They're going to need a new felt eventually, or new pockets. They often, people will say, well, when I get this done, I'll call you back in a month or two so I can get this or that done, right? So you're selling another service down the line. You got the balls, the racks, the covers for the pool table, the lighting. You got chalk. You got replacement parts, accessories, affiliate catalogs, digital guides, just guides on showing people how to maintain and maintenance their own pool table. May actually, you can sell that as a digital guide to help your customers, right? So it's like, okay, you don't want me to come out there, then I got this PDF, or I got this booklet that you can buy, save yourself some money. Those are for people that's with the DIY, or do it yourself, right? They might actually go for that. So that's a possibility, right? And you're servicing the same customer, more revenue layers down the line. So you got to keep that in mind when dealing with, or looking at, the options. Because in dealing with a pool table hustle or pool table business, most of us, we either got a pickup truck or a van of some sort, right? So we want to use it for something. First thing we usually look at is, the easiest target is always going to be, well, I'm just going to do junk removal, or use my truck to move furniture and things of that nature. But when you have a truck, and you align your truck with a skill that doesn't require all kind of certifications in order to get into that skill, it just takes some time for you to go through the right course to figure out how to do it and how to set things up. You'll come out a lot better with a lot lower investment, and a bit bigger and higher return on the back end, right? Because if you got to deal with going into the trucking or the moving industry, you got to buy the truck if you don't already have one. That's a big investment. You know what I mean? So again, look at that, another comparison between the two, just juggling the two comparisons. You're looking at the box truck or the junk removal, 5 jobs for $400 could get you $2,000. That's true. I've seen that. But to be honest, $400 is kind of high for junk removal or moving, uh, because when you're going about an hour with a move, you may get the first 2 hours for a moving job for about $250. The first 2 hours, right? You may charge $300 an additional hour after that, or $200, whatever the price is, or what the going rate is, what you can land with the customer, whatever works, right? That you can land. Now, that job could go on for hours and hours, right? You never know. It could be a 2 hour job with a 2 hour minimum, or it could be an 8 hour job. You got to figure that out and factor that out from the beginning. And depending on how big your truck is, if you don't have a 26-foot truck, you could be making 2 or 3 trips. Another thing is, you could find yourself in a situation where your labor, there's a high overturn rate, really high overturn rate when it comes to the moving industry. People don't show up. You know what I'm saying? You got to worry about your guy that's going to be driving. He may not show up that morning. There's a lot of things there's a lot of variables to shift around, right? Now, in the junk removal side, 4 or 5 jobs, $400. Honestly, you got a lot of competition out there when it comes to junk removal. Just like I say, there's dudes that'll pull up to your house with a pickup truck and some rinky dink trailer hooked up to the back of it, and he's talking about $50 an hour, right? You don't know if that trailer is going to fall off the back of it. Once the junk leave your house, you really don't care. But I've seen it, right? All these different platforms, and it is what it is. And I'm not knocking nobody's hustle. You got to do what you got to do. I started out with a pickup truck and a trailer. Actually, I started out with a pickup truck and a horse trailer, to be 100% honest with you. So I know what it's like, right? I'm not against it, but I do wish that I knew about the pool table hustle before I had to go through figuring out everything through the junk removal and the moving hustle. Because if I'd have known this from the beginning, I'd have started there. Now, let's look at the pool table business side. You can do 2 refelts, make $1,400. That's including you selling the felt, selling it to the right customer and getting the right job. You could land 2 jobs for $700, make $1,400, do each job in about 2 to 3 hours, 4 to 6 hours worth of work, right? Think about it. That's $1,400. That's in one day. And you could do a move for $600, 2 to 3 more hours. So you're looking at I give or take 7 to 8 hours, maybe 9 to 10 hours. That's $2,000 in one day. The reality of it is you've minimized the risk of damage when you know what you're doing with moving a pool table. You significantly minimize the amount of damage that you may have to incur for something breaking, right? You limit that. It's just a pool table. When it comes to the refill, you don't even have to move the table. You don't even have to move it. I can understand moving the table may inquire, being a little more safe about moving it. But the way I show people how to move tables, there's no way you're going to damage the table. But I will say that the comparison between the two, when you're doing a move, you're moving probably hundreds of individual products out of the house. Yeah, you shrink wrap it, you pad it, you do this, you do that. You have all these tools, rubber bands and shrink wrap and padding and styrofoam and boxes and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, you do have these things, but it's a lot of individual pieces moving. I used to think about it, the moving industry. I used to think about it when I was doing it like some kind of like I would come through the house like a tornado, right? And everything is just flying everywhere. Everything, all your stuff. I don't care, your canned goods, your jars, your plates, your sofa, your china cabinet. All of this is spinning through the house constantly, and it's all getting wrapped up successfully and safely as we possibly can get it out of the house into the truck. Right? That's what we was doing. That's basically what a move was like to me. I came to the door. Hello, how you doing? Yeah, we here. We ready to go. I started my tornado process. I'm wrapping everything up. Your stuff is just, flying all over the house. My help, we just wrapping everything up, flying everything through the house like a tornado. And we got to organize it into the truck, get to the next location, and unorganized. Really, we just unloaded it. We didn't really stack everything back up in the house, but we'll unpack the truck, right, to wherever they wanted it, right? That was the whole moving concept for me for years. But the pool table thing was like, it's not a tornado at all. It's more like you walk in and it takes about 45 minutes. Now, the loading of the truck was often about 2 3 hours, depending on how big the job was, right? But the pool table, you're in and out. It's really in and out. You're in and out. You take out about 26 or 28 bolts and you're gone. You unscrew about 28 bolts. Zip, 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 wrap, 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 zip, zip, wrap, and you out the door. You're gone. You're off to the drop off. That's it. Same amount of money as this whole tornado situation with the moving. Same shit. It's the same amount of money as this whole tornado situation with the moving, is what I mean. Now, and you look at the pool table again, it's like that's $2,000, 7 to 8 hours. Plus, you get the opportunity to sell accessories on your online store for products that's related to the pool table service you just provided. You know what I mean? So you also get digital products you can sell with the pool table service. And now you're stacking income. It's a way better business model to work with. It's safer for you and whoever's working with you. A lot less insurance to worry about. More damage control because you're hands-on, you're the specialist. But when you're doing a move, you may have somebody that's not so experienced, right? Especially for people that's just getting into moving. You don't have the experienced team with you that you can just say, hey, I need you to go over there and pack up that room or pack up this or pack up that and or disassemble this or disassemble that. Believe me when I tell you, there's people out here that will go and get a moving job and don't know how to disassemble a bed frame that is automatically latched together. You may not even need a tool to take it apart. But I've worked with guys that thought they needed a tool to disassemble a bed that was already, it was just a hand assembly. You didn't need a tool to take it apart. So you got to understand when you're working with somebody on the moving side that don't understand how to disassemble furniture and you send them off to go do something, you got to pray and hope that they do it right. But on a pool table, both of y'all are standing right there. More than likely, if you detect the person helping you is probably going to have to stand to the side for a minute and just wait and watch until you get finished doing what you do because you the tech, right? So they'll just be standing there waiting and watching, maybe on their phone or, I don't know, smoke a cigarette, do what they're going to do for about a good 10, 15 minutes out of the process of moving the pool table. Once you understand how to move them, you'll see exactly what I mean and why that happens. Uh, because there's a point in time while doing it, there's nothing else for anybody else to do but you, right? Now, the real difference, let's get to that. The box truck hustle, it's a linear income. Pool table hustle is layered, it's stacked. It's several different ways to get money, right? In the pool table hustle. Now, linear, more hours, more money. If you're doing any box truck hustling, any junk removal, any moving services in a box truck, you need to make more money by doing more hours. You can put more people on the road to work for you. I understand that process too. But I will tell you, if they're not really trained really well, you're gonna have a problem because they don't care about your truck or the items as much as you do, right? So you got to be the type to really overtrain your people in order to get better results. For those that overtrain their help, then congratulations to you. Good job. Good job for doing that, for making sure that you're training people not to go out there and damage people's property and bring the problem back to you, right? So good for you for that. But a layered more layered more systems and more money, you want to work with the pool table side because it's layered and you got more systems that you can implement to make more money without all of the excess activity and all of the excess helpers, right? It's just you and a smaller team of more expert people, that more expert help, that understands exactly how to do this, right? So that makes your ability to not damage anything, to get things done more efficiently and faster without having to worry about something being damaged, you know? So that helps there. So now you got to ask yourself, which one would scale easier, the pool table side or the box truck side? In reality, I will definitely say the box truck side scales faster. You know why? It's because it doesn't take an expert to drive a truck. It doesn't take an expert in order to go inside somebody's house, lift the sofa, and bring it out. So there's way more room at the bottom to do stuff that doesn't require you to figure it out, right? But once you get into a space, if you're the type of person that's like, no, I'd rather be a little bit higher above just the lower service levels, and I want to learn a skill that'll bring me up above that so I can get to the expertise level of things and working with something that's going to actually, pay more due to that fact. Then you want to move to the pool table hustle side. You want to work with this. This is what you want to get involved with because it's going to give you a lot more income, passive income, than the trucking side. But again, let's look back down and say trucking, that equals a heavy asset. You got to depend on the truck. Junk removal is heavy labor. Pool table hybrid model, it's a skill service store back end that you can put together, a system behind the actual just moving the pool tables that you can put together. Now, with that means you're actually building a real infrastructure. All right. So, in closing, we want to look at, now this isn't about, knocking anybody's hustle, whether it come to box truck moving or, freight shipping or junk removal. This ain't about knocking on hustle. I've done all three of those, landscaping and a few other things to add to the list, right? So I know the difference between a lot of them and what I do now and why I do it now, right? So this is about having leverage or creating leverage that you can use, that you don't have to spend your time in order to earn income in this field, right? That's what this is all about. If you're interested in earning leverage, then you want to learn more about this economic ecosystem related to pool tables. Now, if you want to learn more, go ahead and click hybrid below, because that means there's a combination of your products and your services working together. Click hybrid. I see you on the inside.